This is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Atiwa, the new Rosenberg game from Lookout Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in about 30 minutes per player.
30 minutes per player, that means an hour for 2 players. And
one
so
and a half hour for 3 and 2 hours for 4 players. I can count.
I was going there, but I was thinking, nobody needs to hear that, so I was going to stop. But then you were like, I want to do that because counting is fun.
I'm getting on there.
If you enjoy board games and counting and you are new to the channel, is there something you can do?
Yeah, you can support us by subscribing to our channel. You can even click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
About games.
Yes.
Board games.
This time about bats.
Bat games.
Yes.
So this is Atiwa, the new game from Rosenberg. As you said in your DS and pickup video, you don't know how to pronounce this.
No.
And I don't know how to pronounce it because I think
Atiwa.
people pronounce it differently. So you were trying to be like, I picked up Atiwa. People are like, I don't know what that is. And you're like, Rosenberg. They're like, game. So Atiwa is a worker placement game. It's kind of straightforward. 7 rounds, 3 workers each round. On my turn, I'm going to place a worker on a spot. Most of the spaces or the spots, the worker placement spots, is going to give me different things. Those can be wild animals, those can be trees, fruits, fruit bats, gold, or also the last thing, which is goats.
Or families.
And families, I forgot that. The next last thing, that is goats, and then the families. You can also get terrain tiles and new location tiles for your little tableau. And whenever you get a token, except for the gold, you're going to have to take it from your player board and place it on a location on your tableau. Most of the places on the tableau will have different symbols on them showing what can be there. Some are going to be blank, and on those blank, you can put something that you already have placed on that card. And that is basically what you're trying to do. At the end of each of your round, you can do a fruit bat action where 3 of your little fruit bats fly away eating fruit. So you have to discard a fruit, that's like the mechanics, and then they poop and they give you a new tree. In this game, the trees come very fast out of the ground. You basically, they eat the fruit and boom, it's a new tree. But that's kind of like the mechanism is that they poop all around and you get new trees. And that is kind of actually the thing that the fruit bats do, like in real life. They eat the fruit and they poop.
It's a little leaflet in the game about the fruit bats, and they carry seeds a long distance and help the trees grow.
And poop a lot.
In nature.
I was a bit sad that the game was less about poop and more about worker placement.
Yes.
But that's
the brown components in this game it isn't poop.
So
it's
1 out
pollution.
of 10.
Yeah.
Bye. Now we are going to do a first impressions of the game. That is the brief overview. That is basically what you need to know. Let's talk about other stuff.
Yes, artwork and components in this game are nice. I think it looks kind of like not beige, but a little beige. A beige and
might that be
green.
Because we are in Africa?
That might be.
Where there's sand.
Yes, so we like this game a lot.
10 out of 10. Bye.
No, I think the artwork is fine. I think the components is fine. It looks very Euro-y. I think that is fine. Yeah.
I think the nice thing is that it because it's set in another place of the world than all other Uwe Rosenberg games, it's gonna look different than all other Uwe Rosenberg game. Because you're used to the color scheme in all of his games, you see like, oh, this is a Uwe Rosenberg game. This is not one where I will look at it and be like, that's a Uwe Rosenberg game.
True.
Because it does look kind of different. But the game can look good, but can it be learned good?
Oh.
Rulebook time. It's a rulebook. It does have a rulebook. It's not actually...
That's good. Thumbs up.
Bye. I think we're done with that joke now.
Yeah.
It's not very long. It's about 12 pages long, but the last 1.5 page is the solo rules. If you're not playing solo, you don't need them. And then the first page is just like the components. Then you have 2 pages of setup, which means there's only 2, 4, 6, 7.5 pages of rules, which going to tell you one thing: this is not a very heavy game.
Yep.
This is a pretty straightforward worker placement game, very easy to learn, very it's not hard for people who are not used to playing heavy Uwe Rosenberg games to jump into this. This might be one of the easier rules to learn for a Uwe Rosenberg game for quite a while that I can remember. Not for the smaller abstract ones, but for the bigger Kennerspiel, which is called advanced level Damn, advanced. Look at games. Oh, it's so advanced. It's not, but that's fine. But yeah, the rulebook is good, and also the play rates are 2 thumbs up. Ding,
Thumbs
ding,
up.
ding, ding.
Bye.
Because you get.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
There's going to be this whole weird people who go, oh, it's still 5 minutes left. I don't understand what's going on. You actually get 3 play rates, and they show you everything you need to
3
know.
each for each player.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Not 3 and then there's 4 players. That would be not good. We would be like, play rates, really good. Almost all player gets 1.
Yeah.
It's almost how bad it is in games these days,
Yeah.
but it's not, we'll be like, whoa, almost 1 for everyone. But you actually get 3 each, as you said.
Yeah.
And they're very good. You have all the details that you need about the
And a little
round,
more, I think.
Okay.
But I think it's fine.
More than you need.
I'd rather have
has a
more
letter.
information than
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know that. I don't need that information, but somebody needs that information.
That
Thank
is
you.
true.
Thumbs up. We have played this game with 2 and 3 players, and it has taken us approximately 70 minutes.
Yeah, it actually, like the first time 2 players took 1 hour and 10 minutes, and the second play, because it's the first person, so we have played it 2 times.
Yes.
Second time with 3 players took actually less time.
Yeah.
1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah,
What do you think
so
about that play time?
I think that is nice.
I think it's perfect.
I think that I'm very happy that it's less player time with more players than the box says.
Oh, yeah.
Because like in this kind of game, it isn't UV's heaviest game.
Nope.
It's a pure optimization puzzle. In my brain, I'm just like, oh, this and this and this, and it's very descriptive for you.
This and this and
This
this.
and this.
Welcome to the review. Bye.
But it doesn't outstay its welcome. But I think like also with 2 players, it was the first time we played.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we can get it down.
45
like,
minutes, I
yeah,
think you can play
that's
this
very
with
good.
2 players. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed 3 players more.
I
So
agree.
for me, I would probably not choose to play this with 2 player again. I thought it was good with 2 players, but it just felt, because it's such a loose game, it's not a tight game at all. It's like, it's pretty loose. You can get most what you want. With 3 players, even though there's a few more worker spaces, there's still more people to be able to take what might be the best actions for the round. So even though there's more spaces, there's 2 other people who might want the same thing. So it felt, even though it doesn't feel tight at 3 players either, it felt tighter.
It feels, if you compare it to like Agricola, this is just a walk in the park tightness.
Yeah.
But the tightness doesn't come from the action spaces, in my opinion.
Nope.
And it isn't like this, very harsh tightness, like, oh, I can't do everything. It's just like you get a lot of stuff. And if you haven't optimized it, you have to throw away stuff. And that can be very tight, like space-wise.
Yeah, because we're into gameplay now.
Yeah,
We're
sorry.
done with the player
I'm
count.
transitioning, like smooth.
Transition.
You can't even know that I
Smooth transitions.
Yes.
Boom, let's go. Not
because
that
you
smooth.
have these designated spaces, as you said, and you're to below. So if I want to place trees, I have to have space for trees.
That's
And
right.
if I don't have space for trees, I can't place
No
any more
trees for you.
Yes, and also if you get pollution, because pollution will block up space in your tableau,
How do you get that?
you get...
might ask.
Yeah, I will answer that very soon. Then you have even fewer spaces to
Yes.
put your stuff, and you want to get stuff. Stuff
is
very
basically the
good.
game, yeah.
So I feel like the tightness doesn't come from the player board, really. Well, sometimes it does.
You mean not the
but-
player board, but the
Oh yeah, sorry,
worker
the worker board, the main board where the worker placement stuff happens. But I feel like the tightness comes from my own puzzle thing, and sometimes you will take the action spot that I need, but there aren't like one for new villages. It's multiple.
Yeah.
And you have more options with 3 and 4 players when
Yeah.
you have more worker spaces. But I felt like this was a fun game with 2
Oh, yeah,
also.
absolutely.
I don't feel
So
like...
we're back to play again.
Yes. Sorry. That is
I'm
where
just-
I started.
Just joking.
Transitioning back and forth.
It doesn't really matter.
Well, my point is, I thought 2-player was good as well.
So, let's explain pollution, and then let's talk a bit more about the puzzle that you tried to allude to.
Yes, thank you. The pollution you get when your villages are basically families are searching for gold, because you have untrained families that
Are untrained.
and you have the trained families. The trained families are more
They're not trains, but they're not because you don't convert.
trained.
Yeah, you said correctly. It was just a very bad joke.
Okay, it was a bad joke.
I know.
They know their bats, so they can live.
Now
with
it
the
sounded like
bats.
they know they are bats. Is what they sound like. You said they know they're bats. So they're kind of like the untrained families. They don't
They
know
are-
yet. They don't know that they're bats yet. So
Okay, sorry. This is getting out of hand. Well, so the bats can live with them, and they're also more efficient in getting gold. They know what to do, basically. But the untrained families, have to look in the river and for gold, and then when people do that, it's a lot of pollution.
I love that you know so much about golding. Like if you think people
I
like
was just like,
going looking into the
"Damn."
river, be like, "Where's the gold? I can't find
Okay,
it."
they're
Oh.
digging, basically.
And that makes pollution. I just found it a nice image. I'm gonna go look for some gold now.
Yeah, and
Oh.
you can get 1, 2, or 0 gold, and the pollution takes up space. So it's better to have trained families.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Let's talk about the kind of the space puzzle because you kind of
Yeah.
talked about the what happens because of the space puzzle, but
Yeah.
let's talk a bit about the actual space puzzle.
Yeah.
Because there is most of the balancing here is about kind of what do you want to focus on and do you want, because you need the location tiles most of the time to get places for families, and families are the things that gives you the most points. But the faster, and you also get gold, and gold is also points, even though you can spend it for actions. And the earlier you get to families, the better, because you will get more gold for them, and also you might train them and get spaces for bats.
And
But
they can multiply and get more.
yeah,
more
we are going to
families.
talk about the breeding.
Yes.
But you're just skipping ahead.
I just- Yeah,
Talking
contributing.
and then but the earlier you get them, you also have to pay food for them at the end of each round. So if you're in the beginning of the game, you just go for the families, you're probably gonna have a problem because you haven't made ways to actually pay the
Yeah.
food. And then you pay the food because you have this board, which you will see, where you take things from the left and you move them away, like kind of like a Terra Mystica thing, which is
yeah.
the thing I think about, because that's the first one I remember where I took things and things happened underneath them. And it's the same here. The more you have of each of these rows, you're going to get income at the end of the round. But you also you're balancing out, because if you have too much of one thing, it's going to be harder you have to spend, like if you need too much food, you have to spend all your other things, and then you're going to be back at square one again. And every time you build a new location, you use your trees, because you cut them down and you build a new village and a new settlement, and you will place them back on the track, and you will have to be able to take them out again. So the game is all about basically a flow of taking things from the board, placing it back, taking things from the board, and trying to do it in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit, and one of the best way possible is because of the breeding. Let's talk about it.
Yes, because depending on which round you are in, you will see how many things of a thing. How many is the number of, for example, families you
Yeah.
will need to get a new family. So you can kind of
Typical
plan,
Rosenberg.
Yeah, so you can kind of plan, because not everything is breeding.
Mm-hmm.
It's only specific things. Families are breeding a lot of times in this game.
Yeah.
And also like these wild animals are also breeding a lot. So
And the goats and the bats.
yeah.
So all
Okay,
of
yeah,
things.
all of the things. But I will see this time I need this, and I would like to have that. Unless if I don't, I will miss an opportunity to get an extra piece
free.
from my player board, which is nice. But I also have to make room for that.
Yeah.
That is the spatial puzzle of it again. So it's a lot of the same in this game. Rhyme. As you said, just this balance between having space for things and also having them available so you can get them on here, and also not spending everything at once.
I feel like it kind of boils down to like in most games, like when you do something, you can't do another thing.
Yeah.
And you only have 3 actions each round, which always feels like too few actions.
Yeah.
You might have 2 actions you kind of have to do, and you only have 1 action in between them that you can kind of see what happens and what the other players do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be like, I really want to do that action, but those actions are more important, so I'll choose them first. And that is kind of like you can't do everything.
Yes.
So sometimes you will not have enough rooms for the things you want to have room for, and sometimes you will really want to get that new tile so that you get the room for that.
Yes.
But the game is all in all pretty straightforward. One of the things that is, I will say, as we're saying, this is the first impressions, but most Uwe Rosenberg games I feel have some kind of variability element to them. Like, is it a new deck in Hallertab or Agricola, or in Peace for Odin, like it's using these kind of things to make variability. I'm actually like, in Newsfjord, is there a lot of variability? Because this is kind of like the same level as Newsfjord in weight.
I think that some of the variability in Newsfjord, I don't think it's very much, but it's the different what do you call them, helpers that come out in different order.
But do they come in different order? No, they're not, because they have numbers, and
they have numbers. Okay,
same
forget it.
numbers. So I don't think there is any variability in that game either.
Yeah, I think you're right, but the thing is, in both Newsfjord and this,
There's a setup. There's no variability in this game. There's no different setup. It's going to be the same each time.
It's going to be the same. But I think the variability, or like the interestingness of playing it more times, is that you can try to do different stuff. I felt like you could definitely do that in Newsfjord, but I will not talk more about this.
No, it was just because I was like, I thought like all of these games, I was like, but this is like a comparison, and I don't think, but it's gonna feel like mostly the same game every time, with some variations, and some variations in how you attack the game and the strategies.
Because you can either go for like, okay, I will follow the rules of the breeding and be like, okay, I want to have 3 families by that time, or you can kind of go outside that and do a more specific or specialized action. One thing that you could do that we haven't tried ourselves is to have a lot of space for the bats and just like get a lot of bats, because you really don't have to feed them anything.
Nope.
And there are an unlimited supply. It's
and they are
like the one thing that you don't take from your own player board.
And you would want to do that because you get a point for every bat you have over 10. It's not just because they look good.
The bat action is a nice action in this game. It's a very tiny action, but you can actually use your bats and you're free to get more trees. And trees are sometimes very hard to come by in this game because you use them for expanding your village.
One thing I did like about that is that all the tiles you place are stuck, but the bats, you can kind of use the bat action to replace them other places.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a round and get a new location that has 4 spaces for bats, or new terrain, which have 4 spaces for bats, I can then, and I spent blank spaces on them earlier, I can now place them there, and then I can use those blank spaces for other things. So that kind of like has that changing, because the bats never go to your player board, so you can take them back. But that is kind of a very nice addition to that as well.
Yeah, I think also the training of the families are cool, and because that also gives you points towards the end of the game, but you also get these benefits throughout the game, which they can hold bats, so they give you more space for that, and also they give you no pollution when you get gold.
So let's talk about the weight and who is it for. What do you think about the weight?
I think it's a light game, or like
it's light game?
No, not light medium game.
Lighter side of medium for me.
Yes, I thought this were maybe going to be like a more heavy Uwe Rosenberg
We were
game.
just guessing because we had no idea. We just hoped basically it was going to be.
And the first time I played it, I was just like, oh, this is light. But then we played it a second time, it's just like, oh, this is a cozy puzzle.
Yeah.
And I think the puzzle is interesting. I think what makes this game interesting for me is not like the worker placement. Oh, you go there and now I can't. Like, that is not very exciting for me. That is just like one way to get the things that I need. But the spatial puzzle is, and the way I take things off the board is the way that I think the game is fun.
That's interesting, but the question was, who is it for? Not what did you think?
Okay, what do you think?
About who is it for?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be it's going to be a nice lighter Uwe Rosenberg game. So if you think that Agricola, Caverna, Feast of Rodin, Le Havre, all of those are like might be too heavy for you, or you want to like ease into those kind of games, I think this is going to be a nice one. I also think that if you are a fan of Newsfjord and Uwe's games in that category, I think you will like this a lot. I think that it it is, and also if you like if you can play this 3 players in an hour and 10 minutes,
Yeah.
that is just like perfect. Because you can't do that, I feel, with Newsroad. It's going to be a longer game because this is so smooth in that. So if you want, even like we like heavier games, but this is for me 1 hour, 10 minutes, 3 players. If you can play this like 45 minutes with 2 players,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Really good.
And that is a lot of game in a short time. But if you love variability, if you need your games to be very different, if you need like this to be, you do a completely different thing, then I don't think the game is going to be for you.
Yeah, I agree. It's not this super crunchy AP game which UV sometimes serves us.
Yeah.
Which I think is the biggest pro to this game when it's this simple puzzle. It's that it's interesting for its simplicity, but it also very fast and efficient. It's just like a cozy game.
So final thoughts, and is it fun?
Yeah. I basically said my final thoughts already because I kind of skipped it. But I think this is a nice game. I like it. I'm not in love with it. It's just like I haven't really decided how much I like this game.
But this is first bit like
Yes.
initial review, and we're gonna do like a
Initial
final
review.
thoughts later.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I think it's a fine game. I think it's fun. I think I'm just repeating myself.
Yes.
Because the main thing I think it's cool is that you get this cool puzzle in such a short time.
Yeah.
It's basically what I think is very positive about this game. It's just like fun puzzle, takes short time, it's enjoyable. Rating?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
What?
Yeah.
A 6.5? You don't think it's good? You think it's a fine game? A 6 is a fine game, so you don't even think it's good?
Well-
It's an initial 8 for me. I think it's very, very fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's a
Yeah.
great game. It's super smooth. 1 hour, 10 minutes with 3 players.
Yeah.
Just extremely nice. I have a lot of fun playing it. It's not brain burning, but you don't always need that. It's just like so smooth, so nice, fun. I don't know it's going to be fun in 10 plays. We don't usually play a game 10 times, so just the variability isn't so much. But for me, an initial rating of 8. A lot of fun. Really like it.
Yeah, cool. We were kind of different on this one.
I had no idea you didn't even think it was good, but that is...
Well,
You are the person who always say like, but a 6 is fine and a 7 is good.
Yeah, yes. I just yeah.
But you can rate it whatever you want.
Yeah, I think it's a good game. But like, yeah, I can rate it a 7. That's fine. I'm very sure about this game.
Yes, you are.
Alright,
We will
yeah.
see with the final thoughts when we play it more.
This review has been delightful. Bye!
But yeah, that is it. If you're still here and you have not subscribed, you can do so now. Bye.
Click the subscribe button. It makes us very happy that you want to listen to this rambling that we are doing.
As always, listen more to what we say than the number, because what
Yeah.
we say is more important.
Yes.
I didn't hear a 6.5 coming after what you said, but that is just what happens in life sometimes.
Didn't either. Okay, let's do it. If you want to do something.
So do you want to change your rating if you didn't either hear a 6.5?
Well, I changed it to 7.
Oh, you changed it to 7?
Yes.
But after peer pressure from me.
No, it's. I don't know what happened.
Thank you so
Before
much
the
for
video,
watching.
I was just like, this is a 7. And then I talked myself out of it. I'm not kidding. Okay, yeah.
And that's the end of the video. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.